Hello, today we'll discuss the reverse linked list in Leetcode. So this is easy question. So what is actually expected in this question? So actually they'll be given the linked list, single linked list actually. What is single linked list first we'll understand, and then we'll understand what is required to do in this question. So first in single linked list actually there will be only one reference, which is for next there will be reference, only one reference. So there will be like no previous references. This is previous and this is next reference. Actually there will be like no previous references, so that is called single linked list. So let's understand what is actually in this question expected. Okay, so there will be a single linked list given, and in this single linked list actually they wanted to reverse the whole list actually. So they'll be given like 1 2 3 4 5 as seen here, and we wanted to reverse that as 5 4 3 2 1. So let's make this as null, because the last node will always point to a null node, which means like it will not point to a next, there will be like no next node. Here we can say there is an head which will point to the first node. Okay, so let's start how we can solve this. So as I said earlier, so it's just having the next reference, so it will not have the previous reference. So like let's suppose whenever you are in this node, so what you want to do is to do a reverse. So instead of having a reference to the next node, which is 3, you should point this 2 node, what is that, from 2 you should point to the previous node. So let's make this as a next reference, and you should remove this reference. So if you keep doing for all the references same, all the node the same way, so suppose for 3 we'll do a next reference as 3 and we'll remove this reference. For the 4 also we'll do refer to a previous and we'll remove this, and for 5 also we'll refer to 4 and we'll instead of null, and for this also instead of 2, so we should refer to null. So if we do that, so what happens is, and if we refer head this as a first referral point, if we do it this way, so what happens is we'll get this result 5 4 3 2 1. So how we can achieve this? So let's see the coding part. So here the each node will have the next reference as I said, and there will be a value. So this is all the constructor actually, like what is the way of creating this object. So whenever we have a it actually this is a pointer for the first node. This is a first node pointer which is given in a function parameter. So we'll check whether this is null or not. If it is null, so the whatever the list is given as empty, so we'll return same as it. So it will be null, it will be returned. So then later what we should do is, suppose here whenever whenever we are in this node, we should keep this as a previous node, and whatever this reference is there, right, before discarding this reference, we should keep this reference in one of our temporary node, and then I'll tell you why we should do, because we wanted to increment from 2 to 3. So for that reason we wanted this next reference. So once we done that, so what we can do is, from this node next we can point to the previous, and then later we can increment this node to this. So let's consider this as a current and this is a next. So once we have done all this discarding reference and pointing this next to the previous, and then we can increment this current to the next node. So once we are here, again we should do a same thing. Let's see. So for now, let's consider this is current and this is previous for us. And so this will have the current dot next will have the next reference. So we'll store it in temp variable, and we'll discard this reference and we'll keep this next as current dot next as previous, and then we'll increment current equals to next, and we'll make this current as previous. So for this will be a current now, and this will be the previous, again this will be the next. So we should do the same similar way to all the nodes. So I'll show you in the code how we should do. So when we get the head, that is first node, we'll check for the null, and then we'll keep the previous as null for the first iteration, because the last node will point to null. Okay. And then so we'll take the current as head, the first node, and then we'll check if it is null or not null. So this is a while loop, so we'll keep doing till the current the last element is null. Okay, so as I said, the first what we'll do is we'll store the current dot next in a temporary variable, and we'll discard the next current dot next, and we'll store the previous previous value in the current dot next, and we'll upgrade the previous value to the current, and then we'll also increment, or we'll go to the next node by using current equals to next, which is we are stored in here temporary. So if we do it for all the nodes, and then the previous whatever the previous last element, which this element will be our head node or the top node, so we'll return this previous, because so from the previous, from the null, it will point to first previous, it will be here, and then it will be here, and then it will increment to third, and it will increment to fourth, and it will increment to fifth element, and then it will be in fifth element itself while it has been ended, and then it will return as the first element to the function. So this is the explanation